to not believe in God. I was so angry at God, so I said, like, first you go make me like this, now you take the only woman who loved me so much. You take her away from me. For her, I was the most handsome and most cutest kid. And she's not there anymore. During this time, and I chose to be atheist, it was basically, I was very angry at God. During this time, in my second year of my engineering, I had a friend who was a Christian. He was from Kerala. He had a Kerala pastor. And he used to come and tell me, and I used to always, he was a very good friend of mine, I used to always tell him, you know what, life would be so amazing when you're 6 foot tall. Life is so great when you're taller. Life is great when you can reach something on the bookshelf. Life is great when you can bend your legs. You can wear clothes that you please. I wanted to be like you, 6 foot tall. And he told me, you know, you can be. There's this God. His name is Jesus. And he can heal you. And I used to get so angry at him. I said, we have 313 million gods in Hindu faith. Why do I need another God to heal me? And he said, he's not another God, he is the God. He's the only God. And I used to get mad at him because this was just 3 months after my mom died. I was so bottom of my life. But one night, I decided, okay, let me go and talk to his pastor. I thought in my mind, I'll go and talk to his pastor, I will pray for this God, Jesus. And if he heals me, it's good, I'll be 6 foot tall. If he doesn't heal me, I'm not losing anything. I'll still be the same person. If the pastor is behind my money, I have nothing. I have no money to give him. So let me go and talk to this pastor. And as of the first Sunday when I went and talked to him, he didn't answer all my questions, but it made little sense. Then I kept going back for some reason. And slowly he started showing me all the scriptures in the Bible where Jesus does all the miracle and heals people. And then we started fasting and praying. I fasted and prayed 3 days, then 5 days, 7 days, weeks after week, months after month. Every night I slept hoping tomorrow morning I'll be 6 foot tall. In fact, I went to the store, bought the longest pair of jeans pants I could find and hung it next to my bed. Because if Jesus comes in the middle of the night and if he heals me, I have no pants to wear. I kept praying and praying and praying because I believe there's a God, Jesus, he will heal me. But you know what? When we pray, we also give a map to God saying, God, this is what I'm praying, this is how you should answer prayer. But God doesn't work that way. Because I thought, God, you just heal me and I'll be gone. I will never disturb you again. I will never bother you again. You just make me 6 foot tall. But God had a different plans. When I was praying to become 6 foot high, He was working in my heart. He was growing me more and more into His kingdom. I was taller and taller and taller in His kingdom. He hit my heart. I was praying for miracle outside in, but He was working from inside out. He touched my heart. In 2004, this is 6 months after, or 8 months after my mother died, I gave my heart to Jesus. 2004, I never looked back. And that's when I was born again, and I told, now I have to go and tell this to my parents. I said, Lord, what if they reject me? And God told me, they didn't reject you when you were born, so they will not reject you when you're born again. Go and tell. And I did, and I went and told my parents, my dad remarried, my stepmother, my sister. I told them, now I believe in Jesus. They didn't like it, they didn't like my faith, but they said, we don't like your faith, but we like you. So it's a grace of God that they support me. And I started excelling in everything that I did in school, colleges. I was a basketball captain in high school. Trust me, I'm not lying. I played basketball. I played cricket, volleyball, swimming, and everything else. And then I decided, can I go to the next slide, please? I decided, I said, when we worship the God who created heavens and earth, He is bigger. He is bigger. Let's not put Him in a small box with our small prayers. I said, I can do better. All this life, when I shared my dreams to people, they said, you can't do it, you can't do it. And I kept believing that, oh, maybe I can't do it, I can't do it. But when you read the Bible, and the Bible says, I can do all things through Christ. I said, Lord, if this is true, I want to try it. If this is true, I want to try it. I can do all things through you, in you. And I said, Lord, I want to go to Canada. And that week, I came to Canada for University of Calgary. It's almost 11,500 kilometers. Bangalore, like any other city, the temperature never gets below 12 degrees centigrade. The day I came here was January 2009. It was minus 25, a foot high snow. Can I keep going with the slides, please? And that was the night when I came. One more. Keep going, please. That was the snow when I first came. I never saw snow in my life. The first thing that I did coming out of the airport is touch the snow. The second thing is to try to forget it because there's snow everywhere. When I started going to the school, I had a huge backpack and layers of clothes. I had to walk. I was in Northwest Brentwood, closer to University of Calgary, and you have to walk through the snow. And as I don't bend my legs, I don't lift my legs, so I swing my legs. So when you're swinging, you're basically shoveling through the snow. You're pushing the snow. My neighbors are very happy when I go to school because the sidewalks are shoveled, because I push the snow away. But by the end of the day, I come back, I have blisters under my feet, and soon it started to bleed. It's bloody everywhere. And you come back from university, you clean your sock, you clean your leg, you prepare your supper, apply some coconut oil, and the next morning it's the same story. And I kept telling Lord, why? Why did you bring me here? Was it Calgary or did you say California? Where do you wanted me to go? Did I hear you correctly? And all those questions, or did I make a mistake? I wanted to go back. I couldn't. When I came here, I had no friends, no relatives. I came all the way here, all alone, to Canada. I said, Lord, I know you're with me and I want to go. And I came, and I remember I was praying and God said to me, it's not a mistake you're here. I brought you here for a reason, for a purpose. I will hold your hand and we both will walk through it. In 2011, I graduated from University of Calgary. Next slide, please. 33 years ago, they said I will be mentally inactive. And God, by the grace of God, today I have a master's degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Calgary. Let's go for the next slide. Keep going, please. Today, 33 years ago, they said I'll never walk in my life. Today I can swim, play basketball, keep going, baseball, skydiving. I drive now my own vehicle, I bike, ski, hiking, climb mountains. Thank you. Hold on there, please. That is 33 years ago when they said I will never walk in my life. And the power of God can pick something which is weak and shame something very strong. Man looks at the outer appearance, but God looks at your heart. God picked something foolish of this world to shame the wise. He picked me from 1.2 billion people in somewhere corner in the town of in Bangalore, and He picked me up from there, brought me here to glorify His name. And then 2 years later, I got another dream. I felt I had to climb a mountain. I never ever climbed a mountain. I never camped in my life. And when I had the dream, and God showed me to climb Kilimanjaro. It is 19,350 feet high. It's the 4th tallest mountain in the world. It's the first tallest freestanding mountain in South Africa, or Africa. Can you please change the slide, please? So when I started going to this mountain, I never ever thought I could finish it. But I had promise from the Lord that He is with me. And I for sure know when God says, I'm with you, you will certainly win, no matter what. It will not be an easy journey, but it will be very difficult, but you will certainly win. So when we started going, and this is all the terrain I had to walk. Basically, I can't reach everything through my legs or my hands. I had to like crawl some places and walk this. Next slide, please. One more. And this is the local crew that I had to help me carry my stuff. And the path for the mountain. This is how we start the camp. You have wider path, and then it becomes narrow, and then it's only rocky. You keep climbing. One more, please. We camped in the forest overnight. It took me 7 days to go up and one and a half days to come down. And you had to crawl all the way because I couldn't reach to the farthest point through my legs. I had to like literally push myself up and pull myself. Keep going. One more. Thank you. Please hold, please. So this is a Barranco wall. It's 800 feet high. And you have to pass this to go to the next stage. If you don't climb this, you will never make it to the next level. So if you look closer, it's not very clear here. You can see the tracks of people climbing up. And we were at the camp at the bottom of this wall, and the guide came to me and told me, you see that wall, we have to climb that wall tomorrow morning. And I asked him, so how long does it usually take? He said, usually people climb that between 1 to 2 hours, and then you have to walk to the next campground between 2 to 4 hours. In your case, we will climb this mountain between 2 to 4, and then we'll go slow, no problem. And I prayed. I climbed that wall in 1 hour 15 minutes, up 800 feet high, and it was very steep at the bottom. The only safety you get is a helmet. If you're lucky, you'll get a strap for that. And you keep climbing. The slippery, it's raining, and just behind you there's a cliff. One move, wrong move, and you're down. And people were behind me, holding me against the rock, and they were very high. There was no path. You had to basically climb the rocks. So I climbed that because that night God gave me a promise, Habakkuk 3:19. The sovereign Lord is my strength. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer. He enables me to tread on the heights. And that's the promise. I sought promises after promises in every stage of my life. I wanted, Lord, I want to do this. Is it your will? If it is your will, give me a promise from your word. This book is full of promises. He will keep the promise. Though we are unfaithful, He is faithful. He will keep His promise. Can you please change the slides? They wanted to have my pictures. I tried to sell them for $100. Nobody wanted it. Next, please. Keep going. One more. So this is the final day. We had to climb. This was the summit day. Next slide, please. So we are on the right corner. We have to reach the red dot and then walk on the lip of the crater to reach the blue dot. Next slide, please. And that was the time. You're so high because the oxygen is so low. You can't really breathe. When the oxygen is so low, you'll have dizziness. Nausea, and you may have fluids gathered in your lungs and brain, and you'll bleed, and eventually you'll die if something goes wrong. If the weather is bad, you can't go forward. If you're falling sick, you can't really walk. But fortunately, grace of God, nothing like that happened to any of our team members, so we were all healthy. Every step I took came with a decision to make another, came with a decision to take another. I was squeezing every drop of oxygen I could find in my body for one step. It was 80,000 feet high, and then there's no oxygen up there, very, very less oxygen. And then when you reach at the very top, you have craters and icebergs at the top of the mountain. Keep going. These last steps. This is the 7th day. One more, please. One more. One more, please. There you go. That's the summit. And by the grace of God, I made it to 19,350 feet high. That's the top of Kilimanjaro. It's the top of the fourth tallest mountain in the world. Now, why am I showing you all these things? Not because I've done a greater thing here. What I'm trying to say is we all have mountains in our lives, in our personal lives. It could be your health. It could be your relationship. It could be your children. It could be your spouse. It could be finances. It could be anything. It could be your schooling, your job. It could be unsaved person in your family. It could be anything in your family or in your life. We have those mountains in our lives. Usually we just sit in front of it and we just wish it's gone. I wish it's gone. Or we just simply sit in front of it and cry. When life gives you 100 reasons to cry, stand up, fight back, give back life one reason to smile. And for us, that is Jesus Christ. Jesus said, there will be trouble in this world. Life will give you 100 reasons to cry, no matter who you are. But Jesus said, behold, I have overcome the world. And through Him, we can do it too. We can do it too. Whether it's your family, whether it's your finances. But God, when you're born in India like me, it's very difficult to get married. And I was praying to the Lord. Lord, I said, you have blessed me in everything. I want to have a family, my own. I'm sure you will bless me in that too. Everybody said, 99% you may not get married. And I always told them, I have 100% hopes on that 1% remaining. God is not a God who is restricted, or He is not a limited God. He can't say, Bharat, I blessed you with all these things. I'm sorry, I'm out of stock. I can't bless you anymore. He's not that God. We don't serve that God. We serve a mighty God.
Hallelujah.
We serve a God who created heavens and earth. We serve a God who loves you. He wants you. And then He blessed me with a beautiful wife, Sahana. We have never met each other. We chose not to see physically each other until our day of wedding. We saw on Skype, but we chose not to meet physically until the day of wedding. And on the day of wedding, that is the first time I saw her. And that was as a bride and a bridegroom we met. And why did we do that? Because we already decided to marry one another even before we saw each other. So why do you really want to meet before? That was just personal thing, just between us. We said we will honor the Lord. We want to meet on the wedding day, and we met on the wedding day, and then we got married. When God gives you, when God blesses you, He will bless you. You have to hope and pray and pray and pray. And then we wanted to have family. Everybody thought Sahana had some problems, because that's how we Indians think. Oh, maybe she compromised her life. Maybe she is handicapped too. Maybe she, because none of my family members are Christians yet. I'm still praying for the salvation. I'm the only one Christian in my family. And when they met Sahana, they were looking at her very closely. Is she walking all right? Is everything all right? Why did she decide to marry him? It's because of the love of Christ in our hearts. It's because of the love of Christ. It's not because of our personal achievements. Because of the love of Christ. And then later they said, oh, maybe it was Bharat was just lucky. We'll wait for his baby. Maybe his baby will turn out to be like him. I love my Lord. He zips people's mouth amazingly. And we have a beautiful 8-month-old daughter, Rania. Rania means song of God. Like Zephaniah 3:17 says, where God delights in you, He sings of you. And we wanted to put that in. Rania is song of God. And that's how Jesus changed my life. And He is still working. I'm not always positive. I'm not always smiling. I have my own problems, ups and downs. Even today when I walk to my office or to malls or anywhere, people still look at me. They still take pictures. They still call names. That's part of life. But today I have hope. I can use this to share the gospel. I already have their attention. Now I'll have their curiosity. Or I'll have their curiosity and attention together. Now people come and ask me, how can you do these things? And I'll tell them, come, let me tell you how I can do it. You know, there's a God, Jesus. And that's the platform God has given me. And I thank you so much for this opportunity that you have given me to share what Jesus has done in my life. Let's press on, let's keep. I really pray and ask you young kids, put God first in everything in your life. When I became Christian, somebody told me, pray for your future wife. I was only 19. I'm like, I'm still 19, why should I pray for my partner? He said, no, just pray for your future partner. Parents, pray for your future, daughter-in-laws or son-in-laws. It sounds crazy, but it is how it is. And I kept praying ever since I was born again. I kept praying for my future wife. I said, Lord, I don't know who she is, but keep her, sustain her, bring her to me. Whether it's, and kids too. Depend on the Lord for your school, your career, honor your parents, love the Lord, know them young. Know the Lord when you're young. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Sahana, would you like to say anything? That's my beautiful wife, Sahana, and my daughter, Rania.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I won't take more time, but I'll just shortly tell you my story. So, my mother was a Christian, but my dad is still a Hindu. So, growing up, I was exposed to both religions. So, I would go to temples with my dad's relatives and worship the idols, but my mom would religiously take me and my sister every Sunday to Sunday school and church and teach us scriptures and songs and hymns. So I grew up exposed to both. And when I was 16, my mom sent me to a youth camp, and there I learned more about Jesus and how we need to talk to him, and he's like our friend, our father, and how he's the only one who can forgive me of my sins and make me clean. And he died for me on the cross because he loves me so much. So I started fasting and praying in the camp, and Jesus gave me a vision. I saw Jesus on the cross, and that's when I realized that he died for me. He's real, and he wants me to give my life to him. So I committed my heart to him, and since then, God has been so faithful to me. And the one main lesson he taught me was to do his will in every step of my life, because I may want so many things and I may think that's good for me, but Jesus has the best in store for me. So even when it came to my marriage, I just prayed, Lord, I want to do your will because I know you have the best person. You know who is the perfect match for me. So I read about Bharat's profile in a magazine, in a Christian magazine, and it was a matrimonial column. So there were just 5 or 6 lines about him and describing his condition. And I read it and I told my parents, I'm interested in this profile and I'm going to pray about it. And I started fasting and praying, and God gave me many promises showing me that this is his will for me. And then we exchanged our profiles. My parents spoke to his parents. So it was very much an arranged match. We never knew each other or our parents. We are total strangers then. And then we met his parents and his family. He was still in Canada, and we exchanged our phone numbers. We started chatting and then talking on Skype, and I asked God that give me a promise for our lives together, that you will be with us no matter what, because if you are with us, we can face anything. And God gave me a promise. That was my secret prayer, and I prayed that he should give the same promise to Bharat. So that won't be a coincidence, that will be God's doing. And God gave me Psalm 91 as promise for our lives together. And 2 days later, Bharat told me that God was speaking to him and he gave him the promise, Psalm 91. So that was a miracle of God. And then, so in November, our wedding was fixed when we met his parents. That's when I saw him first on Skype. And then in May we got married, so we saw each other that day. And yeah, I never regret that decision. People used to ask me, don't you have any doubts? Don't you have questions? Don't you want to meet him? Don't you want to, know more? I said, no, God has told me that he's the one, and I don't want to know anything more. However he is God's chosen for me, so I will go ahead. So that was God's grace. I believe that is his calling for my life, and we are just trusting him and walking along with God. So please pray for us and our family. Thank you so much.